G'day guys, Sean from NAVASPIRE Car Conversations. Look, today's a bit of a special video. It's a response to a question from Megan. Megan, thanks for your question. And for everybody else, Megan's question was, why do I need penalties listed in my goal? Wouldn't just not achieving your goal be enough to drive you to achieve it? Look, in theory that works, but in reality it just doesn't work. And I'll explain why. Basically, people are driven really by only two things, and it's really quite simple. Everything you do, everything you're doing right now is one of these two things. It's either to gain pleasure or to avoid pain. It's that simple. And we do this in various different areas. We do it in our values, in our beliefs, in our human needs as well. So there's a whole bunch of different areas that we try to gain pleasure and avoid pain. The problem is that quite often when people state goals, it's just a single liner. Now for me, writing my goals is about a 1 to 2 day exercise, and the reason for that is because you can write goals in a way that it's virtually impossible to not achieve them, because you're so driven. If they're structured in the right way, you can be so driven to achieve them that it's almost certain that you're going to, just in the state of writing them. And I'm not going to go into that whole load. Really that's something that we need to do one-on-one. And you can find out more about that. I can come and help you with your goals, and you can find out more at www.improvedaily.com.au. So you're looking to gain pleasure and avoid pain. So when you write your goals, you need to have really compelling reasons why that particular goal is going to help you to gain pleasure and avoid pain, and you should really do it in 4 areas. The first is why, and the second is if not, and then positive and negative for both. So I'll just explain that. So when you write your goals, you should have very strong reasons why you want to achieve it. What things will you get that? And there's almost an art form in being able to extend that right down to your core beliefs. And as I said, that's a one-on-one exercise. So write down your goals as to why you want to achieve it, and what are the positive things that you're going to get from achieving it. The other thing you need to do is write down the negative things that are going to happen if you don't achieve it. A common example I use is, and I use it a lot because it's so common out there, is losing weight. A lot of people want to lose weight. So you need to write down all the benefits you're going to get, for example, for losing weight. You're going to feel healthy, you're going to be better for your family, you're going to be better for your kids, you're going to be able to do this or do that. But you also need to write, if not, what are all the negative things that are going to happen. So if I don't lose weight, I'm going to continue to feel like this, I'm going to continue to have this problem, I'm going to continue to have this or this or this, or it's actually going to get worse. These are the things that are going to happen to me if I don't make a stop to it now. So you're writing why, positive, and if not, negative. The problem is, if you just look at that, so that's all your positive stuff, you're not recognizing why you're not there already. If it's that easy, if that's what you want so badly, why haven't you already done it? Right? Well, the reality is we are humans, always have these things pulling us in different directions. You might have a career goal, but something in your personal life is pulling you back. Or you might have something that you're trying to achieve in your personal life, but there's something about your spirituality that's pulling you back, or your physicality or something. So we're constantly balancing our lives, and so you can get caught up, you can get pulled aside. So it's very easy to lose sight of your goals simply because they're not structured well enough. So while in theory it would be easy to just say, hey, these are the things I'm going to get out of the goal, you have to at least recognize the fact that you're not there yet, and you need to understand why you're not there yet so that you can change that. So the next step to that is you need to look at the flip side and say, okay, what are the negative things that I'm going to get if I don't achieve this goal, if I achieve this goal rather. So let's say, for example, it's an investment. You want to make an investment, and you think that's going to have a whole lot of financial benefits. Well, the reality is, if you do invest it, there's a risk. So that's the bad things that are going to come from going through with the goal. There's always pros and cons, even in something you want to achieve, and you have to recognize that, because if you don't, you're going to kid yourself that you haven't been sabotaging, or that you haven't been having some thoughts pulling you back. So you have to recognize those. So say, these are the negative things that have stopped me from doing it, and these are the positive things I'll get from not doing it. So for example, let's say it's losing weight. Well, the positive that's going to come out of not doing it is you're not going to have to get your ass off the couch, right? So there's some positive to that. You're not going to miss that TV show. Or you're not, there's some there's some positive to not doing it. So when you structure your goals, you're looking at the good things and the bad things. And then I talked about pain and pleasure, so I'll come full circle and talk about your actual question, which is why do we need to have incentives or rewards and penalties for your goals. So what I do, depending on the size of the goal, is I set milestones. So if it's a short-term goal, something you want, so for example, a personal goal, as in who you are being, that's generally quite short-term. You can just do it in a second. But something that's long-term, something that you need to do over time, you need to have rewards and penalties against milestones. So let's say, for example, again, it's losing weight. Over say a year, you might have the goal that you want to reach, but you need to break that up into smaller achievable goals. At the end of your big goal, you will definitely have a big reward or a big penalty if you don't reach it, but you need smaller ones to drive you to each little goal. Now, there's a saying that says that the biggest thing that gets in the way of a great life is a good life, and it's so true because we get caught up, we get pulled away. Now, I mentioned before that we're driven by the forces of pain and pleasure. So if we look at pleasure first, that's what most people think. They go, well, if I just have a strong enough incentive, then I will achieve that goal. The reality is that that's not our only driving force. In fact, if it was strong enough for you, you would have already gone out and done it. I want you to think about this. Imagine I said there's a person over there who's got $5,000. I want you to go over there and I want you to have a punch up with that person and take that $5,000. Would you do it? The reality is probably not. But if I flip the scenario and say, right, you've got $5,000 and they're coming to steal it from you, would you punch on to save the $5,000? And for a lot of people that said no to the first question, they would say yes to the second one. And the reason for that is, unfortunately, people will do far more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure. So rather than punch on to get $5,000, for a lot of people, that violates their standards. It's not really the way to go about it. But they're willing to punch on to save their $5,000 they've already got and they don't want to lose. So people will do far more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure. And the reason for that is because our brain's primary function is to keep us comfortable, to make us happy. And it's as long as you're comfortable, then you're generally okay. And most people find a way to be comfortable where they're at. It's called congruency, and I guess that's probably a whole nother topic. So it's against your primary function when something gets taken away from you, but it's not your primary function necessarily to strive for more. So I guess that's it in a nutshell. Really, when I do my goals, I have milestones in them, and in there it's got this is the thing that I want to achieve, and here's the reward if I meet it and the penalty if I don't. And what you'll find is quite often the penalty will drive you to achieve the goal more than the reward will. It's not about the penalty itself, it's about the avoidance of the penalty. Now, as a special note on that, one thing that's absolutely crucial when you do your goals this way is you need to be a person of integrity. So when you set yourself a penalty, if you don't reach that goal, you can't just then say, oh, well, look, this happened or that happened, and make excuses and then not come through with the penalty. No, you've actually got to go through with it, because what happens is next time you set a penalty, you know in the back of your mind that you're not really going to go through with it anyway, and so then it's not really going to hold you accountable to that goal. And that's really what it's about. It's about accountability. Now, just on that, if you're scared that you're not going to be a person of true accountability or true integrity when it comes to holding yourself to your own standards, what you should do is find a mentor that's going to hold you to it for you. Okay, they're going to say, right, these are the things that you said you're going to do, and I'm going to hold you to that. Now, the penalties and rewards usually should be relevant. So a great one for, again, using the example of losing weight simply because it's an easy example, a great one is to take photos of yourself, because for a lot of people that can be really confronting. Or to be public about your weight loss and how you didn't succeed and what you're going to do about it next time. You know, for a lot of people that are trying to lose weight, publicising what their weight is can be really confronting and really painful. So they'll do anything to not have to do that. So if you can set a goal to say, right, on this date, I'm going to publish, if I make my goal, I'm going to publish to everyone how much I've lost. And so that person's going to get a whole lot of praise, and there's a whole bunch of reward that comes with that. But if they say on the flip side, if I don't achieve it, I'm not going to post how much I've lost, I'm simply going to post how much I weigh, that can be really confronting, and some people will do anything they can to not have to do that. So that's what it's really about. It's not about publishing the weight. It's about getting that person to do whatever is necessary to achieve the goal and holding themselves accountable to making that mark, so that when they eventually they get ultimate pleasure. So I know it seems counterproductive to want to put penalties in your goals, but the reality is people will do far more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure. And if you can use that to your advantage, use anything you can to your advantage, you're going to get there. You're going to make it, as long as you can hold yourself accountable. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Just on the point of holding yourself accountable before I close off, obviously that's what a mentor will do, and that's certainly what a success consultant like myself will do. So if anybody's looking for help with structuring your goals, as I said, your goals should be quite lengthy, and you can actually write them so that it becomes far more painful to not achieve them than to achieve them, and vice versa. So it's definitely worthwhile getting someone to help you through those. For a small amount of money, you're going to see immense results. So drop me a line, www.improvedaily.com.au, and we're going to see you at the top and help you out. All right, we'll see you then. Bye.